Okay, so let's talk about AI. We're in the middle of a revolution that, let's be honest, promises to change just about everything. On the one hand, you've got this incredible world-changing hype. But on the other, there's this frustrating reality for most businesses that just aren't seeing the results. So today, we're going to break down this productivity paradox and really figure out what separates the AI winners from everyone else.
So let's start with that promise, because it is absolutely staggering. Research from McKinsey estimates that generative AI could add up to $4.4 trillion in value to the global economy. And that's not a one-time thing, that's every single year. Just to put that in perspective for you, that is more than the entire economy of the United Kingdom. This is the number that's fueling all the massive investments and these sky-high expectations we see everywhere. But here comes the reality check. According to PwC's latest global CEO survey, only 12% of companies are actually seeing real, tangible results on both sides of the coin. Making more money and cutting costs with AI. Get this, more than half say they've seen no impact at all. That right there, that's the AI productivity gap in one single stark number. And that is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? It's not really about having AI versus not having AI anymore. I think that ship has sailed. The real game now is all about how you use it. So what are these leading companies doing so differently? How are they turning all of that potential into actual real-world performance?
Well, the answer seems to be the emergence of an entirely new kind of organization. Research from Microsoft, and this is based on surveys of over 31,000 workers, has identified a model for success that they call the frontier firm. And this isn't just a company that uses AI, it's a company that is being completely rebuilt around it.
So what in the world is a frontier firm? Well, think of it as an organization that treats intelligence like a utility you can get on demand, kind of like electricity. They build these hybrid teams where humans and AI agents literally work side by side as colleagues. And this allows them to scale their operations and innovate at a speed that their competitors just can't keep up with. And the data shows a massive difference between these firms and everybody else. A huge 71% of leaders at these frontier firms say their company is thriving. That's nearly double the global average. Their employees are more than twice as likely to feel they can take on more work, they're more optimistic, and here's a really key one. They are way less afraid of AI taking their jobs. This isn't just a small advantage. We're talking about a fundamental difference in both performance and culture. So what's driving this urgency? It's something Microsoft calls a capacity gap. And think about this tension, right? On one side, you've got more than half of all business leaders saying productivity has to go up just to meet demand. But on the other side, you have a whopping 80% of the entire workforce saying they are already completely maxed out. They just don't have the time or the energy to do more. That equation just doesn't work. It's unsustainable. And AI is really seen as the only practical way to close that gap. So the crucial unlock here is a mindset shift. This quote from Connor Grennan at NYU Stern just nails it. The companies that are falling behind, they still see AI as just another piece of software, like Word or Excel. But the winners, these frontier firms, they're treating AI like a new kind of colleague, a digital team member that you actually collaborate with. And this new way of thinking creates a brand new role for basically everyone, from the front line all the way to the C-suite. They're calling it the agent boss. What it means is your job is no longer just to do the work, but to build, direct, and manage a team of AI agents that can do the work for you. It's all about amplifying your own skills and judgment, not replacing them. Now, this big transformation from being an individual user to becoming an agent boss isn't just happening inside of companies. Nope, it's scaling up to the national level, creating this global race for AI dominance that really forms the competitive landscape for all of us. So let's zoom out for a second and see how that bigger picture is shaping up. The Stanford AI Index report gives us a really clear snapshot. In 2024, the United States is still the leader when it comes to producing these top-tier AI models. But the real story here is the speed of the competition. China is catching up incredibly fast. They've closed what used to be a double-digit performance gap on key benchmarks down to near parity in just a single year. That's lightning fast. And it's not just a two-horse race. Other nations are making huge strategic investments. Take India, for example. They've launched what they call their India AI Mission. It's a $1.25 billion initiative to build up their own domestic AI ecosystem, focusing on everything from computing infrastructure all the way to homegrown AI models. And if you want to understand how nations are building their AI futures, The World Bank has a simple but really powerful framework, the 4 Cs. First, you need connectivity and compute. That's your technical foundation, non-negotiable. Then you need high-quality context, which is just a fancy way of saying data, to make the AI smart and relevant. And crucially, you need human competency to build and manage the whole thing. If you get one of those wrong, the entire national strategy can just fall apart. Okay, so we've seen the gap between the winners and the laggards, and we know the global race is heating up. So let's bring this all back to what you can actually do about it. How does a regular organization make that journey to become one of those high-performing frontier firms? Well, it turns out there's a pretty clear, phased approach. Microsoft outlines this 3-phase journey. It starts pretty simply. In phase 1, where AI is basically a personal assistant, helping you draft emails or summarize long reports. Phase 2 is where the real magic starts to happen. AI agents become digital colleagues. They might join your marketing team to analyze campaign data or your finance team to process invoices. But the ultimate goal is phase 3, a human-led, agent-operated model where you set the strategy and your teams of agents go and execute entire business processes. But, and this is a huge but, to support that journey, you have to have the right foundations in place. PwC's research with top-performing CEOs shows that technology alone is never, ever enough. You also need a really clear AI roadmap that's tied to your business strategy. You need formal processes for responsible AI. And maybe the most important thing of all, you need an organizational culture that actually enables and encourages this whole new way of working. And this really is the core takeaway. If you remember one thing from this, let it be this. The biggest hurdle to getting value from AI isn't the technology anymore. It's a challenge of change management, of strategy, and of culture. The companies that treat this like a company-wide transformation and not just another IT project are the ones that are pulling away from the pack. This quote from Microsoft's Work Lab really just puts the whole moment into perspective. Think about it. Imagine knowing what you know today, but right before the internet changed everything. That is exactly where we are right now with AI. The incredible difference, though, is that this time we can actually see it coming. The patterns are becoming clear, and that gives everyone a chance to lead this moment. So the ultimate question really isn't whether you should experiment with AI anymore. The research is clear. The time for doing little, isolated pilots is over. The real question is a much bigger, more strategic one. How will you begin the journey of rebuilding your organization's processes, its teams, and its culture around this idea of on-demand intelligence? That is the challenge. And frankly, the massive opportunity that's right in front of us.